I got somebody here saying they cannot imagine what it must be like to be Jim Zecca today. Big Donald Trump fan, community advocate, Jim Zecca of Utica. He says here, it must be like it's Christmas, Easter, and the 4th of July all wrapped up together.
The visual of you saying that he was in his living room beating his chest this morning is pretty funny.
Yeah. Like a little, almost like a little, like a King Kong beat of the chest. That's exactly what it is. There you have it. We've now recreated it. Jim Zecca is a
audio.
happy man. And Andrew, the word is, too, that Zecca was saying yesterday that the Utica Trump contingency has a big announcement they're making on Friday, right?
On Friday, yeah, they'll be making it in studio here.
They're coming here to make a big announcement. Well, I don't know what it is, but it's a big announcement.
Will they beat their chests?
Is it, I wonder if the wind, with Cruz dropping out now, does some of the wind come out of the sails of that big announcement? Because now Trump's the guy.
He's the guy, yeah. Well,
it's not like they're going to say something. Presumptive.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're going to say something that's going to propel him to the nomination.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much almost in stone right now.
Yeah. Trump trumped their trumping moment.
Right.
Here we go, Ron in Cassville. Good morning, Ron. How are you?
Oh, I'm awesome. How are you, Bill?
Good. All right. We're going to give you a chance to win $100, $200, or $300 in cash. Let's find out what we're playing for here right now from the Hobica Law Firm. Here we go.
$100.
Oh, another $100. Another C note. All right, here it is for you. The game show Match Game is coming back. The host, Gene Rayburn, who's no longer alive. He was the legendary host of Match Game. You remember that?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, here's your question. Who was the legendary host of $25,000 Pyramid? Ready, go.
God. Dick Clark.
Was it Dick Clark?
Winning.
Yeah, it was Dick Clark!
Winning.
That was a good pull right there, Ron in Cassville.
Beautiful.
Nice! I feel like Dick Clark now because back in the day, it was the $25,000 pyramid, but nobody ever seemed to win $25,000. And that was such a big deal, right? What's the lottery tonight? It's $300 and some odd million. Pretty crazy. All right, Ron in Cassville, you win 100 of Hobica's dollar bills. $100 in cash. Congratulations. Sit tight. Andrew's going to hook you up, all right?
Thank you.
All right. How about that, Ron in Cassville?
Nice. That was a poll, too. He was
that was a good one. He was searching deep down. Dick Clark was the legendary host of $25,000 Party. Is that the show still on? Probably
it
not.
was for a while. I don't know if it still is.
And who was the host when Dick Clark was gone?
I can picture him. I don't know who he is, though.
Yeah. Okay.
He looked kind of like Dick Clark, right? Thin guy, black hair. Maybe I'm thinking of another show.
I don't know. Speaking of numbers, 12 is the number for Sheldon Silver. Does that surprise anybody that he got 12 years in prison? Former Assembly Speaker Sheldon Silver, a backroom master whose name was synonymous with political power, according to the Associated Press, was sentenced Tuesday to 12 years in prison. And he's 72 years old. How many years do you think he'll do? If you do 12, do you do 6? Do you do 3 on good behavior? And what's he gonna? What bad is Sheldon Silver going to do in prison? He's going to try to, coerce people into doing things or come up with some racket. It's not like he's probably going to get into any fight.
No, I don't know. 12 years, I guess. I mean, he's probably going to spend a big chunk of the rest of his life in jail, and I think. After the Hastert sentencing, what did he get? What did he get? Would he get 3 years or 3 months? What did he get?
Yeah, that was terrible.
It was a slap on the wrist for what he was accused of. I was kind of glad to see that.
I thought that was terrible.
This has some bite, though.
I don't know why we don't go after the pedophilia, especially when you have somebody in a stronger position, whether it's a scoutmaster or a priest or somebody who's in a position of power, a position that people, young people look up to them. I don't know why the penalties aren't stronger for that. To me, it should be like life in prison. You betrayed the trust of a young person, of a little kid, and you get 3 years. And not only he didn't even get hit on that. The problem with him was it was the 3 years or whatever Hastert got was that the statute of limitations had run out. So his crime was covering it up, right? Paying to cover it up. I think they should get rid of the statute of limitations for that. Just my opinion. Why should there be a statute of limitations? There's not on the victim. It never goes away for the victim, right?
You know, and I remember that Skelos or Silver was rescheduled, and they were going to fall on the same day. Dean Skelos was supposed to get sentenced the same day. Was there another delay?
I don't know what's going on with that.
It was there was the big story about a month ago that it was ironic that both corrupt leaders of the Assembly and the Senate were going to actually face their sentence on the same day. But I have not seen anything on Skelos. So
I was talking earlier about this big festival, this classic rock festival that's going to be going on. And it actually is not next year. It's later in this year. It's in October, right? And it officially is happening in California, Indio, California, in October. And they're calling it, am I correct in saying, the Classic Rock Festival? And Paul McCartney, already on board. Paul McCartney, the Rolling Stones, The Who, Roger Waters from Pink Floyd, Bob Dylan, and Neil Young will play over 3 days. A single general admission ticket for just 1 day is $200.
So
1 day is $200.
They're calling this Boomercella.
Boomercella, right? So the baby boomers. This is it. I just don't know. You're going to have all these people falling asleep. You know, think of the meds. I mean, back when Woodstock happened, the meds were always illegal, right? It was just, they were just doing drugs. Now they're going to have prescriptions for all the drugs they have to do. Because none of the people very few people at Paul McCartney's age look and are able to act like Paul McCartney and pull off or forget Paul McCartney. How about, what's his name from the Rolling Stones? I mean, crazy. Here's the teaser video that was released yesterday. The Rolling Stones had a video that was released, which was kind of cool. A VIP ticket is $1,600, and that is with a senior discount.
Sorry.
Here's Conan O'Brien on the big concert. Well, listen, I got to tell you, the other night, Periscope is the app, and we have it it's on Apple TV. So if you have the Apple TV, it's on your big screen TV, and you're able to look at this app where people live stream things. So if you're, like every once in a while when I was at a Comets game, I would live stream the Comets game. So if you were on your phone or on Apple TV or whatever, you could watch live. And they're doing it at concerts. And I don't know how they get away with it today because when you go in, you can't use any video. There's no recording devices or anything like that. Yet people are live streaming entire shows. And I watched for about 45 minutes Paul McCartney, and he was somewhere. I don't even know where he was. But in concert, and it was just live streamed the other night.
Well, this is almost impossible to stop. I
How
think.
do you stop it? Without you can't tell people they can't bring in their phones.
I think that they will eventually stop it because you're not allowed to broadcast. I mean, you can't do NFL games. You can't do.
But they do. People do. They
but I think
live
it's just
stream
they haven't
this stuff.
caught up.
So I guess there's going to, at some point, will there be some sort of a technology that blocks everybody from streaming something? Or does Periscope end up getting sued? And Periscope's going to be the one that has to police it. The minute it's, copyrighted content, Periscope shuts it off.
And that's an
I don't know.
interesting
It's all
point.
coming. This stuff, it all started with satellite television. You remember satellites where some guy would all of a sudden show up with this gigantic satellite dish in his backyard? I mean, the thing was huge, bigger than the ones that TV stations use. Enormous. Looked like something that was going to reach the moon. And he was getting live coverage of like all the networks. So he'd be able to see it. You'd see the commercial breaks. You might even, in some cases, you could see the announcers just sitting there during a commercial break. You were getting the live feed. Well, quickly, everybody got a hold of that, right? And said, we can't allow this to happen. So they scrambled it. And now you have to buy a box, and now you have DirecTV. That's what DirecTV became, and all the other ones that are out there. The same thing probably will happen with this. But incredible to be watching a show, watching a concert like that, right in your living room on a Sunday night. It's pretty cool.
It is
But
cool.
Paul McCartney's voice is a little weaker than it used to be.
Oh,
Just
sure.
a little bit weaker.
How old is he now?
He's in his 70s.
Yeah, well.
Pretty crazy. Looks pretty good for that.
He does.
Looks pretty good. Christine with an update right now, 6:48. Good morning, Christine Bellino.